afternoon to all of you. Welcome back for the fourth session of our 3-day FDP on Industry 4.0. Today we have with us Mr. Arvind Ramachandran, Senior Manager, MTAB Technology Center Private Limited, Chennai. So MTAB is not new to us. We have a relationship with MTAB for more than 2 decades, and they are involved in CNCs, PLCs, robotics, and Mr. Arvind Ramachandran is also well experienced in all the automations. So I'm very happy that he has accepted our invitation today and deliver a lecture online mode. So I welcome you, sir,
Thank you, sir.
on behalf of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute and on my own behalf in this webinar. And also, I welcome all the participants for the fourth session of this FDP. Now I request Mrs. Pasam Bhagyalakshmi, Assistant Professor of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, to introduce the resource person, Mr. Arvind Ramachandran.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, one and all present for this wonderful session. It's my immense use our resource person, Mr. Arvind Ramachandran, behalf of Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. Mr. Arvind Top Technology Centers as a Senior Manager in Sales and Marketing Department. He has previously worked with Microsoft as a Senior Associate in Research and Support. He has enormous knowledge in robotics and automation applications and is providing Industry 4.0 smart factory automation solutions. He is delivering a lot of automation, digital twin, and IoT application solutions to the industries and currently handling digital factory and digital learning solutions to various industries. He is more passionate in knowledge transfer and advanced manufacturing technology applications. Today, he is with us to share his knowledge in evaluation of Industry 4.0, basics and smart factory automation, digital twin concepts, role of IoT in Industry 4.0, and how IoT is influencing training in various engineering disciplines. Once again, we welcome you, sir. I'm now requesting Mr. Arvind Ramachandran to take over the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that introduction, sir. Hope my voice is audible to everybody, sir.
Audible.
And the screen is also visible, sir?
Yes.
I really thank you, Dr. MGR University for getting myself associated with such good event, and it's my pleasure to be a part of it. And Ganesh, thank you so much for the effort that you have taken. And today's topic that we're going to do automation with digital twin, which is nothing but the Industry 4.0 revolution. Right. So before I could start about the topic, I would like to give you a brief introduction about MTAB. I'm sure MTAB engineers, everybody know, and we are all manufacturers of CNC machines, robotics, automation equipments, flexible manufacturing systems, computer integrated manufacturing systems, and all. So we started in 1985, and we used to conduct a lot of training to our customers, whether it is educational or industry. We also supply a lot to industries also. We used to conduct a lot of training. Then in 2011, our training center was started as a separate unit, service unit, where we started concentrating only on providing a lot of service-based solution to all our customers or non-customers. Even it could be a customer of some other company, we don't mind. We only do a technology transfer. Our technology transfer is in terms of knowledge as a training, or as a solution in Industry 4.2 like IoT, digital twin, and automation works. So that was our major focus, and when we started in 2011. This is our training center in Chennai. So this is like where we have a lot of infrastructure, even and hardware like CNC, robotics, automation, PLC, mechatronics, and all, and classroom training as well. And we have trained a lot of people all over the world. In fact, we have trained people from Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Malaysia, USA, Brazil, Australia, Philippines, and all, majorly on a lot of certification courses. These are our main business focus area. As Madam said, like I handle two divisions. One is digital factory division, and another one is a digital learning division. The bottom two are the digital factory division, where I provide a lot of automation and Industry 4.0 consultancy to industries. And we also set up a lot of center of excellence in various technologies. So that knowledge has been transferred into e-learning modules and online learning modules, and that is where digital learning comes in. So we provide a lot of online e-learning modules to a lot of our customers. We are NSDC partners, and similar to NSDC, there is something called IHK in Germany. We are also partner with them to provide certification, and we are also partner with Siemens for training and certification, and also for providing Industry 4.0 consultation to various industries. With that, let's start the topic today on smart factory automation with digital twin. So, what is a smart factory? Today, this is one of the most emerging. You can take like as simple as a mobile phone, right? I have an Apple mobile phone. Some other people might have got Apple mobile phone. We will store their information in a different way. We might use it for a different way, right? So similarly, the industry uses different technologies in different way because it depends on their application. What is my product? What is my process? I need to adapt something related to it. I cannot adapt something different, which will not be matching to my product and process, right? So hence, industry accommodate it in its own requirement of product or process. That's why we say process industry might adapt it in a different way, and different technologies. Manufacturing industry like automobile or somebody will adapt it in a different way with different technologies. Okay, this I would like to make it firm. The other thing is that today in my presentation there will be a lot of case studies and there will be a lot of applications, because we believe in learning the technology via the application. Because as I said, industry consumes these technologies in different way, so it basically depends on the application, what exactly they need. So if we learn the technology via the application, then it will be easy for us to implement it in different industries in different way, and also understand how different industries are looking for some solution. This is again a common slide that we would have seen in many places, right? Industry 4.0, evolution of Industry 4.0. So 1.0, it started with a basic mechanical kind of assembly, right? And then in 2.0, a basic production line was introduced with some motors and stuff like that, right? And 3.0 is where the revolution actually started being recognized, and there is some kind of robotics and PLC automation, basic automation was also being introduced, right? And then now we have 4.0. So let's see what is there in 4.0. As I explained you in the beginning that industry does consume it just like that, okay? Industry will look for a solution which will resolve their concerns or their issues, or or give them benefits, give them improvement, right? Which will help them gain some profits, right? So there are a lot of conditions or requirement that industry is looking at, and we have segregated that into 4 main modules. These are the 4 main modules: speed, flexibility, quality, and efficiency. Speed, right? Speed to market is something very relevant with the topic that we are discussing today. Let's take an example. Just for example, Hyundai Creta is okay, and I work for Ford. I want to release a competitive car for it, say Ford EcoSport. Okay, so Ford EcoSport I have to release. If I release Ford EcoSport after 2 years, will I have any market share? No. I have to release something in 1 month or 2 months so that my market share is there, right? So I compete equally with Hyundai Creta and ensure that I have some market share. So speed to market is very, very important, that everybody is looking at right now. When I say speed to manufacturing, speed in design, speed in research, right? Speed in testing, all those things. Okay? We want the product to be up and running immediately. Even we ourselves, if we order something in Flipkart, say some mobile phone, and if you put your PIN code, if it says delivery time is 1 week, we ourselves get upset, right? We would like to have that immediately, the next 1 hour in our hand. That's something that everybody is right now looking at. Flexibility. Today, let's take again the example of a mobile phone. It was introduced to just to talk to each other, wire free, right? But today, imagine the application of the mobile phone. I've seen people don't even use computer. They do everything in their phone. They have the office application like the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and all already loaded in the phone. They use that. Mail, yeah, WhatsApp, Facebook, everything available in the kind of flexibility that we are looking today is like extreme. Industry is also looking at the same thing. As simple as, like, for example, if he likes the Hyundai car, Creta car is manufactured in our Chennai plant. If there is a new car like Hyundai XYZ is being introduced, the industry, the owner will expect the same factory to manufacture the same car without any new investment. the factory should be flexible enough to accept any change or new addition, right? Quality is never a topic to be discussed today, right? Everybody is looking at that. If some product is not quality, then we will not buy it. The company will not exist. The company will get closed, right? Very few companies are in existence with low quality. Maybe it could be for the price factor. Maybe the companies which are in existence, which are performing well, is only for their quality. So in everything and all the products, customer is looking at better quality, achieving the rest of the three factors as well. Efficiency. I'm sure Corona would have taught us a lot of efficiency today. How efficiently we can use our time, how efficiently to use our food available with us, how efficiently we can use the tools and times available with us, right? Similarly, in their facility, efficiency in the resource available. Even ISO is planning to add some kind of certification or policies like green certification. Industry should be green certified, which means the power consumption, the power utilized, energy utilized in an industry should be efficient, it should be optimized, right? Maybe in the future they might come up with something called space efficiency, because the government might come up with policies like giving equal importance to agriculture and industry, right? So that case, then the amount of space being taken will also come under scrutiny. Today, industries are facing that issue. So even if it is a 1,000 square meter or 1,000 square feet space available, they are thinking of how optimized we can use that, right? So these are the four main factors of issues or concerns or looking at as a solution that they want. So if all those solutions is resolved using Industry 4.0, then they are ready to consume. If not, they are not ready to consume. And efficiency also includes a price factor. Let's make a point on that as well. So as I was explaining that smart factory or Industry 4.0 means there are a lot of different applications, right? Many things are there. It's ocean. Today what we're going to see is less than 10%, right? So today I'm going to take an example of manufacturing industry. Okay, we're going to talk about predominantly manufacturing industry is there in Industry 4.0. Okay, that is an example. So all the technologies involved, all the topics, case studies involved will all be pertaining to manufacturing industries. Okay, so we should then appropriately replicate it with other industries like process industries or warehousing or some other thing. Okay, so today we are taking an example of a smart factory industry where the entire factory is automated. Okay, so to give an example of Industry 4.0, what we are taking is we are taking a smart factory automation combination of different technologies, making the automation smarter, sits in to make it much more smarter. There are a lot of operations in a smart factory industry, right? Not just one or two. There is a lot of background operations as well. How even the background operations is getting smarter is what we're going to see today. Okay, first we will look into this smart factory automation example using some video. Then we will get into the digital twin concept. This is, as I mentioned, an example of a manufacturing industry. How a smart manufacturing industry will work. Okay, so let's first, if I'm the supervisor or manager of the factory, what I will do is first I will understand the infrastructure of it. Well, in general, what are the infrastructure of a manufacturing industry? There will be one stores to store the raw material or the finished goods. Then there will be a manufacturing area, right, where the goods are manufactured, like a machine or some production happening. Then assembly area will be there. Whatever components it is manufactured or produced will go there for assembly area to get assembled. Then there will be a quality department where it will be inspected for some quality checking. And then finally, according to the either it has to go for remachining or just store it back, whatever it is. An inspection station for quality checking, right? So these are the infrastructure and the processes involved. And as I mentioned, this is completely automated. This is a gantry arm, a robotic gantry arm. This is used for automatic loading and unloading. And there is a transfer conveyor to transport the material to different areas. And this is the AGV. The one which is moving is the automated guided vehicle. So automated guided vehicle is which transports the material to different stations. Okay, because since it is automated, there is no manual intervention here at all, right? So here, what product we are manufacturing is a bearing and a shaft assembly. So there is a shaft and a bearing gets assembled in it, and then there is a lock which locks it. This is the product that we are manufacturing. It's one component that we are manufacturing. In this product, there are two components. One is a shaft and the lock. So this is a lock. This is a lock which is getting machined in the lathe machine. First, the shaft got machined in the milling machine. Okay. So first, both these components will get machined, and once when the components are machined, then it goes to the assembly area to get assembled. Here, as I mentioned, different technologies come into place, right? So we have CNC technology, we have robotics technology, we have image processing technology, we have RFID technology, and pneumatics, hydraulics, PLCs, right? A lot of things come into place together to make it smarter. Okay, and the digital twin concept is a software part where I mentioned that you will define the entire working layout and the sequence flow. Then when I press the button, automatically the sequence will run. Okay, that is the smart factory solution. So now in this video, both these components are manufactured. It is done. One in the lathe machine, and another one is a milling machine. Both these components are manufactured. Now it comes to the assembly area where it gets assembled. So first, the bearing will get assembled on the shaft. Okay, so you could see that the shaft is going the place where the bearing will get assembled. So bearing got assembled now. Now the lock will get assembled. The lock is getting assembled now. So now the assembly is completed, right? Once when the assembly is completed, it will go to the next station. So the AGV automated guided vehicle is getting transported to the next station that is used to transport to the next station. Here the vision camera is there. So using image processing technology, it will check whether the goods is selected or different cameras with different features to do different testings for dimensions, for color. We can choose the camera appropriately, whichever is okay for us, for our requirement, and we can fit. So once when the result is given, then the central controller will take the decision whether it has to store back this component over here or whether it has to be sent back for remachining. Whatever decision we mentioned, it will perform. Right? So this is one example of in smart factory automation in a manufacturing industry. Right? Today, robotics is playing a very major role in smart factory. Okay? Not just smart factory. Today, robotics is playing a very vital role in many areas. If for your surprise, I just saw a video where robotics is used in agriculture. Robotics is used to pluck fruits in the plant from the plant. So they have a vision camera in one end of the robot, and other end of the robot there is a post checks using the image processing technology. It checks whether the fruit is ripened or not, and then it plucks the fruit. See, remember as I mentioned earlier, we have to learn the technology via the application. It is not something as simple as just learning a programming. If you take a robotics, it's not just programming which is actually we need to do. We need to understand the complete application that we are giving to the customer. I want to use my online e-learning product, the Skill on 365, to give you a basic information on that. This will give us what are the different applications that are available in industries.
Have revolutionized the industrial workplace ever since its arrival in the industrial field. According to ABB Robotics of Statistics from the International Federation of Robotics, most robots do very specific tasks and fall into 10 categories. They are arc welding or robot welding that joins metal surfaces. This improves the safety of workers by avoiding arc burn. and inhaling hazardous fumes. Spot welding, where
So the
two
background audio is not audible, sir.
by directing a
Oh,
large
okay.
current through a spot of an automotive
Mm,
materials handling, where robots are
so matching
utilized
volume
to
because it is
back
okay, because it is in the computer volume. No, it is not generating fully. The module is just giving us an idea of how robots are used in different applications. Today, International Federation of Robotics, they have defined a major module of applications. Okay, under that there are a lot of different applications again coming out, but these are the major modules of applications where robotics is used. So arc welding, spot welding. If you take today in industry, I would like to discuss about in one case study. That exhibition called the IMTEX that is happening in Bangalore every year. We attended that exhibition where we displayed one of our CNC machine loaded with a robot for automatic loading and unloading of the components from the machine. There, one gentleman came to our stall. With all due respect, he looked uneducated. He came with a dhoti, one lungi, and he asked me cost of the robot. Sir, I want that robot. What is the cost? I was little curious to understand why he need this robot, because since he didn't look like an industry man. So I asked him like, sir, what is you said, sir, why you need robotics? Sir, tell me, give me some example. What is your requirement? So he said, I'm running a bodybuilding work, like the truck bodybuilding workshop. If you order some truck vehicle from Tata or Ashok Leyland, you get only the chase, right? You have an option to get only the chassis. Then you come and build the cabinet, the body, and all as you like. So this man runs a bodybuilding workshop in the Tirupattur. So he wants robotic welding because he wants, there is a problem is he is not getting a manual welder. Even if he gets a manual welder, the welding is not surface roughness is not accurate, or it's not smooth, because of which there is a lot of quality and aesthetic issues, because he also built a lot of luxury vehicles. So we went and did a case study, and we gave him a solution called laser seam tracking welding, which means, say this is arc welding, a normal MIG welding one. Okay, so this is performing one welding operations. Here, what it does, we weld one laser gun next to here. It will first read the surface and give input to the robot, and to say like this is the surface roughness of the component. Now you do the welding accordingly. That gave him a better finish. See the kind of application that, so under these major applications, there is a lot of other things that is coming in, like for picking and packing and palletizing. As I mentioned, it is used in agriculture. Spray paint or nowadays coming or with a lot of chemicals, and also a lot of hazards is also there. So right now many things are coming out using robotics way, right? So robotics is used, these are the major applications right now being derived as a major applications under which robotics are used, right? This is just for an example to you. I am doing this particular session, this webinar, for many institute right now. Everybody is asking me a question that, sir, whether because of this the students will lose their job, or whether it is they have this their mind from Terminator movie, which will actually thinking that the robot might kill the world. No, please understand, nobody's job is going to be taken away. Robotics is growing very high. There are a lot of other reasons for it. Let's take an example of an environment where it is very hazardous, like chemical factory, nuclear cell, right, where humans cannot stand there for a long time. There it is getting automated. And if you can take the factory in Visakhapatnam, how a big accidents have happened, right? Now in Neyveli, the big boiler blasted and the big accident is happening, right? A lot of places where they are now getting automated to avoid these kind of injuries. If you go to Sivagasi and all, where they make that Sivagasi, and down south after Sivagasi, where they make this matchsticks box, right? There and all small automation has been introduced, because they are not getting manual labor to pack the boxes. It's simple as picking the matchbox sticks and placing it in the box, right? So that is a repeated work. 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day, they're doing the same work for 300 days in a year. So they are also not getting laborers. I got a call from one of such factory, where they say, can we automate a bit on this? We were discussing about how we can automate, what process can be automated, how robotics can help. right? These are all like some of the unskilled work. Today, what is happening is the unskilled work is uplifting people to skilled work. Robotic is helping to uplift you to the skilled work so that your knowledge level is also being increased. See, understand the kind of robotics application that is developing. This is one robotic automated cell, okay, where robotics welding is happening automated way. If you press a button, robotics will go to that fixture, it will automatically do the welding. While the robot is moving, the welding is also happening, right? There is no shake, there is no jerk. It is performing its operation very anonymously, and it is coming back to its home position. There is a safety, see the safety cell, right? So now you can program and make this automated cell, and automatically they can do the robotic welding operation. Thereby safety is maintained, thereby process is faster, quality is better, aesthetics is also better, right? So automation is helping people to convert their or upgrade themselves from and unskilled to upskilled labor. That's pretty much on this automation is concerned. Okay. So with that, would like to start now with the digital twin concept. Till now, what we saw is on the smart factory automation. What is a smart factory? An example of smart factory in a manufacturing industry, and how robotics is influencing the smart industries today in many places, right? Those things we saw now. Now, as I mentioned, on top of it, the digitalization sits in. Now, what is this digitalization? What is this digital twin? A digital twin is a virtual representation of any physical product or a process. We are representing that in the software or in a virtual environment to understand its performance or its behavior. Okay, it's only predicting. We are trying to predict what is it performing and how it is behaving on, and then we are trying to optimize it for a better result. This is called digital twin. I will explain you with one case study. There is one industry in Delhi under our digital factory solution. They called us for some solution. Okay, they are facing some issue. We went there. This particular industry manufactures warehousing systems. See, this is warehousing systems, automatic storage retrieval systems, which are huge factories. They manufacture similar such factories. Okay? And for some of the e-commerce website like Tata Click, Amazon, Flipkart, I suppose you would have also seen such kind of factories in videos, right? In YouTube or in Discovery Channel or somewhere, right? So they manufacture similar such kind of factory, and they give it to various companies over here in India. Okay, so this is a typical example of a automatic warehousing system, right? Automatically the goods are stored in some racks, and automatically it is being brought in when it's required, right? This is all unique projects. These are not standard products that someone can manufacture and keep it ready. See, this cells, what we keep here, this kind of job, what we see here, it will vary from customer to customer. What is his job? What is his process? Accordingly, this will vary. So accordingly, this particular customer who called us for the solution, he will also have to design it according to customer requirement, right? So he received some order from some similar such kind of customer. His delivery time is 12 to 15 months. 1 to 1.25 year is his delivery time. Customer is not ready to wait for such a long time. Nobody will be ready to wait, right? So 1.25 year is too high, right? So what he said, customer said, you deliver it within 3 to 4 months. If not, it's fine. We are cancelling the order. We would like to import it from some other country, which can be faster. So then what they said is like, fine, we'll try to deliver. They called us for the solution. We went and tried to understand the thing and what they are doing, and then give them a solution. So what they do is, so once when they get the input from the customer, that is what is the pallet size, what is the weight of this component, and what is the dimension of this component, then they will design this ASRS, all these racks, so much of racks. See, the warehousing systems can run in few, even 1 kilometer length. Okay, that big warehousing also I've seen. Right, so they get some input from them, and then accordingly they will design. The design part, they're able to complete it very faster. There we brought the digital twin concept. What is this digital twin concept? As I mentioned earlier, is I am trying to bring this entire warehousing into a design format. It has got 2 parts in it. Digital twin has got 2 parts in it. One is the design part. Once when I complete the design, I apply the parameters in it. what is the physical parameters, like if there is a dimension, type of the material, strength of the material, all those things I do, and then I apply the kinematics to it. Kinematics is nothing but, say in the same video, if I am moving this, it is moving, this conveyor is moving. See here, this is moving on a rail, right? There is one conveyor here which will, this is moving on one rail. There is one pallet conveyor which will pick the pallet from here, right? Here there is some movement operation that is happening, correct? And this rail will move. There is one this red color conveyor rail is there which will move. Here there is some lifting operations is there, right? This is kinematics. It's functional part. Okay, so once when I define all the physical parameters in it, I define the functional part and I simulate it in the software itself, and I see the output. Thereby, if there is any error, if there is any issue, it is automatically going to show me, right? It will automatically show that we call it as, in our term, we call it as virtual commissioning. What do we mean by virtual commissioning? Is if the physical commissioning that I'm doing. So once when I design, I go manufacture it and I come and assemble it, fit and put the bolt net and all to see how it is connecting, right? Instead of doing that, what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to do that in the software part. Once when I design it, I come and virtually commission, assemble it, put the bolt net. Say for example, if it is a robotic cell, I will import all the arms and connect it with the shaft, the gears and motors and wires, right? After I do the commissioning, then I connect it to the controller, like a robotic controller or a PLC controller or something, or a VFT, and I will try to give an input from there and see how the robot is performing in the virtual environment wherever I have assembled it. So if the robot is not moving as per my desire, or it is hitting, or there is a jerk, all those issues it will showcase there, right? And then I can correct that there itself. I can correct it, and then I can optimize it, right? So remember that beginning in the slide where I mentioned about speed to market, right? The speed to market I'm trying to achieve here, making my process and product optimized in the software itself rather than wasting my time in the hardware in the physical environment. This is called digital twin concept. To take an example of virtual commissioning, okay, let's see, we will be seeing a lot of examples on it. So one example is on the virtual commissioning is an ASRS. Okay, in this particular, or in the presentation, you will be predominantly seeing only our product, our videos and all, because as per our NDA terms, we are not supposed to share any customers' videos or customers' cases. So that's why we are trying to use most of our video for installation, because it is in our control. So here we do one particular testing in the ASRS. Okay, pallet movement testing with the PLC. So this is an ASRS with an 18 pallets. Okay, there is 18 pallets in it. There is a pallet conveyor. This is connected to a PLC, actual PLC. This is in the virtual environment, and it's connected to an actual PLC where we write the ladder logic, and I give an input from the ladder logic and see how my ASRS is performing. So for example, if I say move ASRS to pallet position number 1, whether it is moving to the position number 1 or not. If it is, and I say retract back to the home position, whether it is moving back to the home position, that we can test it. Here, please understand, there are chances where the program can also be wrong. So if the program is wrong, error will happen, right? Accidents can happen, which is going to be again costing. So here I'm trying to validate my program also, not just the design part. So once when both these things are pakka, where I'm saying that everything is fine, then I can straight away go for the hardware manufacturing and assemble and do connect it all to the PLC, and I can directly transfer this ladder logic also in the PLC, right? Because I've already tested and validated, it's working fine. I need not go write the ladder logic program again, right? So this is an example on virtual commissioning. Digital twin concept has got 3 major modules in it: product digital twin, production digital twin, and performance digital twin. Now, when I said speed to market, which involved speed in production, speed in designing, speed in testing, speed in research, right? That is totally constitute to speed to market, correct? So that's where speed in product and speed in production comes into play. that is digital twin product and digital twin production comes into play, and then digital twin performance comes into play. Let's see what is this. See, as I mentioned earlier, digital twin is nothing but prediction of information, prediction of data on its performance, behavior, all those things, right? It is not actual data, it's only predicting. And we are predicting the errors that can come and optimizing the product. Okay, that is digital twin, right? So here, the first two, digital twin product and digital twin production, is on those individual things which will predict data. Performance is nothing but getting actual data on the live performance of that particular product or a process, right? So that we are predicting, and we are giving that as an input back to the digital twin product or digital twin production to optimize it much better. So that's how the optimization completely drills down. Okay, so we're going to see individually what are these individual um, digital twin in depth a bit. Product. Call in our terms as a
Excuse me, sir.
greenfield or a brownfield project.
Huh?
A greenfield project is nothing but before even implementing any factory, we would try to optimize and then we implement. A brownfield project is we are trying to optimize an existing factory. Let's see an example.
Mr. Arvind?
That is a loss that the company will hit. So nobody is ready to actually take a risk in testing this out in the existing infrastructure. Okay, that's where digital twin concept help them to improve it. So I can do all this if and else but conditions here and generate a report, right? What is the current report and what is the optimized one comparison? Put some charts, some graphs, right, and get some details on it, and then I give a best possible conditions or best case implementation to the owner. Then they can implement it however they want, right? However, like phase wise or department wise or equipment wise, however they want to do, they can go and implement, right? So this is on the digital twin production line. So this way it will help you to give an optimized results of how a production floor can be implemented. right? This is the production digital twin. Till now, whatever we saw is predicted data, correct? What we said is these are all predicted data. These are not actual data, right? Now using that predicted data, we things, right? And then we are going ahead. But after implementing, right now we are coming into performance. We are trying to analyze the current performance, live performance of it, and that will be given it as a feedback back to the digital twin to optimize either the product nor the production line or whatever it is. It will get optimized, and then we can implement it again. That way, we are continuously optimizing it, right? Now comes the performance digital twin, which is nothing but the IoT. Today we are not going to discuss in depth about IoT. IoT is again a huge topic, but how an IoT is used in Industry 4.0 today, how it is influencing it, what is it? Because this is one of the major factors of Industry 4.0, right? Let's take in a case study. I'm the owner of the factory. I want to know like what is happening in my factory. So at around 2 p.m., I call my manager and ask him, hey, what is the output of the morning shift? Can you give me the complete data? So what he will do, the manager would have the supervisor or some operator or somebody, he would have written that information in a or Excel sheet. He will collate the data from all these people, right? And then he will build some graphs, some charts, and some manipulate the data. And then by the time he sends the data to the owner, it will be 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the evening. We are done for the day. We can't do any changes, right? Then if we have to do anything tomorrow, need efficiency. We are lost. Owner is expecting something information immediately. It could be some emergency, it could be market situation. He wants to give some input to the factory. That is how today's situation is there in various industries, right? And also survey says these kind of data which are manually obtained, right? Like how they write it in a paper or Excel sheet, right? Those have got of errors is there. So they also want to eradicate these kind of errors. There are multiple Excel sheets that they maintain and they don't know which one is correct. Finally, they use one Excel sheet and they work on the, the data. If the data is wrong and they feel that is the data and optimize it and work, then they are implementing a wrong solution, right? So they want to talk directly to the machine. That is the concept. I want to talk directly to the machine, which means I'm collecting the data directly from the machine, which is much faster and better accuracy. That's where IoT came into place. IoT has got 4 major processes. Okay? First process is connecting things. Connecting things means first the process is where there is a central controller. That central controller is connecting equipments in that machine in the factory, right? And it could be individual product wise or all the equipments. That doesn't matter. So the central controller will connect to all the equipments in the factory and collect the information possible. So today there is a lot of smart machines that is coming in, and the machines are all capable of giving as information as possible out, right? So it will collect all this information and it will push that information to the internet. That is a cloud. Process number 2, data analytics, which is nothing but structuring the data. See, in a factory, there will be an owner, there will be a man, right? These are some of the roles. A maintenance engineer would like to know what are the alarms that is coming out from the machine. In a owner might not need it. A owner will not know, don't want to know what are the alarms, what are the what do you call the oil level of the machine. No, you would like to know what are the total manufacturing components, how many components did it manufacture, what is the total uptime of the machine. These are some of the information that the owner might need, right? So different people needs different to structure the data according to the different people. That is writing an algorithm to structure the data. That is process number 2. Process number 3, application development. So presentation today is a very major factor today, right? Presentation today, if you take this particular topic, if I'm doing it without a presentation and video, rather I'm trying to give you a textbook with a lot of text, paragraph of text, you might understand it, but it will take time. You have to read through it and then understand by yourself. No, it will take a long time for you to understand. Similarly, industries are which will allow them to. Engineer is also looking at something where if there is an alarm in a machine, if it prompts immediately, then if he attends it immediately, then they can avoid a lot of accidents and they can resolve issues immediately. Right? So application is nothing but we are trying to develop some visual style based work where the data is displayed much more in a presentable manner. That is application development. Fourth process is deployment. We are making it live. The process, entire process, right from collecting the data from the machines, pushing it to the cloud, putting it through the algorithm where the data is structured, and then it is displayed in the application in a nice formatable way, right? And then this can be logged in from any part of the world, right? Internet of Things means I can log in and see this information from any part of this world. Need not necessarily be in the factory. That is the advantage of Internet of Things, right? Now, this Internet of Things, people have a confusion that, sir, this is it a topic related to computer science students, right? Because there is a lot of big data analytics. They have to write algorithms. They have to write coding, programming. Sir, as I understand, as I said, please understand that it depends on where it is consumed. Where is this IoT being implemented majorly today? Industries, manufacturing industries. Connecting things, connecting to machine. Which data are they analyzing? Big data analysis is fine, but which data? It is not hypothetical data, it is actual data, right? They might be specialists in data analytics. When the data is huge, 1 lakh data, 2 lakh data is huge. Yeah. But as a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer or a civil or a chemical, you name anybody, they need to know what is a basic IoT because IoT is playing information everywhere. Right now it is used in, if you open your Google phone or your Android phone and or any phone for that matter, just go to Google and type what is the current temperature in Chennai. It will show you what are the temperatures in the past few days, what are the temperature recommended or what could be the temperature, predicting the temperature for the next couple of days. It will give you those information. This is all IoT based actually. They have sensors connected in various places and that captures the data and it is stored in the cloud and using analytics. They have a lot of databases. They're using analytics and AI. It gives an information to you, right? So it is something that is very important for all the departments to have knowledge on the IoT. So today what we saw is just summarizing it, entire smart factory, an example of a smart factory in fact on a manufacturing industry, and how a product digital twin is influencing in terms of individual product, and how a performance or a production digital twin, right? A production digital twin on overall factory performance, on predicting it, and top of it the IoT sits in for performance analysis of the live performance analysis and giving this as a feedback to both these things to keep continuously optimizing things, right? So this is what we saw today. So with that, I would just like to give you a brief information about our online learning product as well. As I mentioned, I handle these two major divisions, digital factory and digital learning division. So digital factory division is where we have this IoT solutions and industry product solution that we give to industries. And those knowledge has been digital e-learning solution, and we give that as a product to various institutions for for any course or even for their curriculum activities, for blended learning. This course is completely, this product is completely, it's like with a lot of audios, videos, it's more interactive. It's not like a book. Like how I taught you today, it's similar. It will teach you very easily. It's a self-learning as well as a blended learning courses actually. And it is completely on industry skills. It is not pertaining to any university skills or something. It is completely on industry, and it is built on many different technologies today for CNC, robotics. We have right now Industry 4.0 getting uploaded in within a week's time. It will be available. So similarly, we are having it for different technologies also getting updated. So if you would like to know anything about it, these are the links that you can actually use to contact. So with that, I'm done with the session today, and please feel free to ask any questions that if I'm aware, I'll answer it. If not, I can get back to you on those questions.
So thank you, sir, for your nice presentation. So you explained in detail about the automation and about the smart factories, and also you have touched upon the Skillon 360 also.
Yes, sir.
So,
questions, sir.
Any questions? Dr. Jaiseelan will ask the questions.
First of all, thank you so much for the excellent presentation, sir.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me? Hello?
One second.
Am I audible to other panel members, sir?
Oh, okay. I'm muted. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Yeah. First of all, thank you so much for the excellent presentation what you gave, sir. So a lot of participants, mostly faculties, doctorates from all over India, they were witnessing this presentation, and everybody have given a very good compliment for your presentation, sir. Impressive data from the presenter, interesting session, lead through technique, nice, good, very good, very
Thank you.
relevant session, good information, informative presentation, and best presentation, sir. Like that, you have got a very good compliment, sir, from the from all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the feedback, sir.
Excellent, sir. Now, we'll get into the interesting part, sir. The first question, what Professor Chirag Das, which software you are using for the kinematic analysis?
So there are a lot of softwares. We are part of it, Siemens, right? So we use Siemens solution to build the digital twin concept, and in fact, Siemens solutions is really great, is because that will help us. They have a solutions where it can also connect to the hardware physical environment. So they have the complete PLM solutions, in fact, product lifecycle management solutions, Siemens softwares. And there are a lot in the market. It's not the only software though, but that's one of the best.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Hope you have answered Professor's question. There's another question, sir. Can the digital twin be used for designing a FMS, flexible manufacturing system?
Yeah, I actually showed you the digital twin of the flexible manufacturing system. It's advanced one. It's called Smart Factory Automation. So this is a digital twin of this particular video is a digital twin of the flexible manufacturing. 98% of MNCs have already adopted it. So MNCs are top OEM manufacturers, like the automobile industries or most of the process industries and all. They are taking it up. Some of the MSMEs, they use this facility available with some consultancy company or some institute. Siemens themselves have implemented a lot of center of excellence in various institutions, and they give the software in a much subsidized rates, and so MSME companies can tie up with those institutes and they can use that facility. Maybe there is a tie up between industry institute and they can use that to learn a kind of thing. So that's happening in many MSME industries, because MSME cannot invest in such high-end software. These are very expensive software. These are some of the software runs in few crores actually. So they might not be able to invest, but they can use such facilities to leverage this facility and get adopted. So if you ask me the percentage level, it is increasing a lot. Reason behind this, because that is helping them optimize that current facility and also optimize that product, right? If you ask me, after COVID, this particular digital manufacturing is going to be increasing a lot in after COVID situation, because of like this distance. We have to maintain. Though there is a lot of vaccine and medicine coming in, in place, still what many industry or a medical institute is predicting is that in schools or in any places they should still maintain the social distancing. So in that case, a lot of industry might adopt this digital manufacturing solution, right? Like this kind of digital twin and things like that, and they would try to adopt these things. As I mentioned, this is not going to take away the jobs of this particular persons. If they are going to remove people and implement digital manufacturing, rather they get upgraded into a designer or a digital twin concept designer or application provider, something like that. So yes, definitely there is going to be a huge peak. It is a time that determines after how many months after COVID situation getting normal. Now we are hearing that from Monday onwards, industry can work as normal. That's what government is trying to say in other than the red area. So we have to wait and see how things are getting implemented, how industry, how the market picks up, and if market is picking up, they will definitely go for these concepts actually.
Yeah, correct, sir. The numbers could not be predicted by us, but as you said, definitely there will be an increase in usage of
Correct.
Yeah. Any other questions from our panel side, sir? Any other questions?
Okay, I think if no question is there.
Correct, sir. No more questions from their side. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I hope all the participants would have learned a new technology, digital twin technology, through Mr. Aravind. And I'm very thankful to you, sir. And I request Mr. G. Raja to propose a vote of.
Yes, sir. Sir, good evening, sir. I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Aravind Ramachandran, Senior Sales Manager, MTech Technology Center Private Limited, Chennai, for giving a very wonderful speech on the topic smart factory automation with the digital twin, and the demonstration on skill on 365. He has touched a lot of case studies through the applications. From the beginning till the end of the session, his speech was very interesting and very informative also. His commitment towards the presentation was also outstanding. He has answered all the questions put to him with a lot of patience. And I do like to thank all the participants for their involvement by putting forth number of questions in the chat box. Last but not the least, I would thank Dr. M. Ganesan, HOD, Dr. N. Ethiraj, Additional HOD, Mr. D. A. Vinod, Assistant Professor, other organizers, and department staff of Mechanical Engineering, Dr. NDR Educational and Research Institute, Chennai, for conducting this excellent online faculty development program or Industry 4.0 during this pandemic situation. Once again, I thank one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that opportunity, sir. Looking forward to meet all of you once again, maybe in the future for some other occasion. Thank you so much for the efforts.